Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing today? Hopefully everyone is doing well. Hello, Roan. Hello, Dolphin. Hello, Vessa, and hello, Astra. How's everyone doing today? How's everything going? At work, but stopping by for a bit? I appreciate that, Astra. I appreciate that a lot. Hopefully everyone is doing well today. The fox draws a wolf this time? Yeah, I thought it would be fun. I'm going a little out of order now. I'm going a little bit, I thought that I was going to go generation by generation, but I kind of decided that I'm just sort of going to, paint who I fancy at that time, who I want to, you know, experiment different painting techniques with. But yeah, we're gonna try to do a wolf today, and, I want to do, Korone and Fubuki, afterwards. I think I can do all the gamers at once. I just don't know Generation Zero as much, I suppose. Keeping up the positive attitude, I'm glad, Vessa. I'm glad to hear that. Also, hello, Lillian. I'm glad you're doing well. Am I drawing Mio so I can be like, look, this is what a wolf looks like? Actually, Mio would be a really bad example for that because her ears are huge. Her ears are almost fox-sized. So that would actually be a really bad example. I'm actually, I'm very surprised how large her ears are, but that would be like the main thing. So, no, that actually wouldn't work too well. I'll have to do a wolf and a fox piece sometime to educate us on the differences. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe. Oh, you know what? You gave me an idea, Roan. I'm gonna write myself a note to do fox versus wolf tutorial. Using Mio and Fubuki. It might be cute to do like little chibis of Mio and Fubuki like trying to explain that. That might be fun. It'd be legit educational. I will do that. The wolf looks more fox-like. Dang it, this is confusing. Yeah, Mio's ears are very large, and to make it even more confusing, her hair that everyone mistakes as her tail has a white tip on the end, and that's very fox-like. So you've got the white tip tail with the darker fur, and then you've got the larger ears that are very red fox, or you could even push that to fennec. Yeah, it's definitely confusing. Love to see that. All right, I'm sort of writing notes on like tutorials that I want to try making in the future. I have ideas where I think I want to try to do tutorials that are like taught using VTubers or things that are sort of signifying for VTubers. So I think that would be like a cool way to tie in everything, because you know my whole shtick lately is just wanting to do art for VTubers as a VTuber, using all the themes I can. So Fenix are so cute. I know, right? I'm actually like, I would probably describe myself as being closer to a red fox, but I don't know. I'm kind of all in neither. But yes, I do have larger ears. That is very true. Especially if I voice or impersonate all the VTubers. No, I wouldn't do that. That wouldn't work so well. I don't think I'd be very good at that. I can't imagine trying to do that. Oh. I wouldn't know how to do that at all. I still don't know, like, enough about every single individual VTuber, just because there's so many, and I can't watch all their streams, and I can't easily keep up. So I try to honor them in the paintings, but that doesn't mean that I necessarily know everything about everyone. A tutorial on the differences would always be evergreen? That's true, yeah. I feel like I should make, like... I feel like I should do, like, a tutorial on the differences between foxes and wolves, and then how that sort of gets translated into, Kimono Mimi. I give you permission to use me in a tutorial for confusing skin tones. Oh my gosh. I might, I feel like I could actually do something with that. I made this, I didn't really make this into a tutorial, but I had a point at the end of a very early stream one time where I was sort of trying to explain, why you need, flat reference sheets, and I was using the example of, this was back when I was only using my anthroform. I kind of gave the example of if you had a furry character and it was a bear, and, you know, there's black bears and brown bears, right? So let's say you commissioned a really talented artist, and they had an extremely shaded reference sheet, and you couldn't tell if the character was supposed to be a brown bear or a black bear, because there are ways to shade both of those that can kind of be confused as either or. So I want to go back, find that footage, use it again, and make a tutorial on why we need a flat section in our reference sheets. It doesn't have to be your whole reference sheet. If you want to have, like, most of it being very high quality and shaded, that's okay, but you should have a large amount that is flat color for people to work with. That's the problem with being Vroid, not easy to get flat colors if you have no art skills. I see what you're saying. I'm gonna have to think about that, actually, because I wonder if there could be some sort of way to make flat color version, pull colors from your Vroid. I'm gonna have to think about that one. I mean, at least having, like, you know, a color palette on the side, even if that's just the flat colors, that is helpful. I learned that from you for doing the Lady Red ref sheet. Nice. Which coincidentally I'm working on at the moment. I decided I hated the boots. Oh, okay. Hello, Alexandra. How's everything going? I'm doing well. Yeah, that's interesting though, Vessa. I might... I don't want to say anything because every time I talk about this stuff, I just have the idea, but I don't actually act on it. So I feel like I shouldn't say anything right now while I still have all the other things in my head. There's too much to do, guys. I'm sure that a lot of you guys are feeling that way, as the holidays sort of creep in, right? It kind of feels like everyone is getting to that really busy point. I need to redo the whole ref sheet. I stopped halfway, but I keep sending it to artists. Yeah, I can't relate at all. Not one bit. Can't wait to let loose after finals. Is that, are you doing that, before or after the winter? The winter holiday. 36-hour days are our only hope. Right? Oh my gosh, please. I have no powers over time, but I think we know some people who might, so might have to tap them for some help. Anyway, let's get to our main scene here. So, as before, I'm just sort of keeping in with the same vein, getting a 3D model set up ahead of time, because I feel like it's sort of something I need to hold on to at the moment. But I am going to try and work faster today. I want to see if we can get something that is a little more in line with the time that I want to try to bring these up to. So just getting the base arm, you know, sort of tracing in the beginning, just getting the rough shape. And I have been looking at other artists who do use this. There's actually a fair amount of artists who use 3D models, more than I actually thought, which is interesting. Like, some of the artists I really admire, I've found some of their speed paints recently, and a ton of them start with 3D models, and I didn't realize how many. It's a larger number than I thought, I suppose. So I just sort of want to very quickly rough these out, very quickly get my idea down. And yeah, I know that when we did Sakura Miko, I was about to say Mio. When we did Sakura Miko, I definitely spent a little too much time on that with the rendering, so I want to try to be a little looser and rougher today. See if we can actually finish the whole piece in a more painterly style. It's kind of confusing because I don't really want to keep switching styles and everything, but I mean, a lot of it is for experimentation and practice anyway, so, you know. Try to make sure that we get our skirt in there. That's probably going to get most of the... Yeah, that's probably going to cover that whole bottom area, if I had to guess. And then her hair, I kind of want to come off to the side so we have a little bit more movement. And again, her ears are very large, so they're going to probably be cropped off the canvas a bit. They're a little pointier, a little bit. I've noticed that it seems, with a lot of kimono mimi, the ears are more straight up than on a regular animal. And I guess that's just for silhouette with the hair. Hang on, let me just make sure. 3D models are a great tool for speeding up the rough stage. Yeah, exactly. And that's really all it is, right? Is it's just our rough stage, really. But because I'm still trying to get proportions right and everything, it just helps in the beginning. Make sure I have her hairstyle right. I really like her hairstyle. I feel a little bit of a kinship with it. I remember, you know, trying to figure out what this form was going to look like, and then seeing her afterwards and being like, oh, that's so cool. You got very similar hairstyle, which I don't think is very common to sort of have like the side part. I don't see it too often anyway. And she's kind of got, let's see if I can make that flow a little off to the side here. I'm Armatox, by the way. Alright, hi Armatox. I'm not gonna ask what's up with the channel, but hello. Hope everything's going well. How critical is this hair movement? I think it's alright here. Saris is asking for a walk? Alright. Sounds good, Roan. Say hi to Saris for me. Now we're just getting the base parts in. That it'll probably be a little bit, but I just want to get our main points. Actually, what I should probably be doing is, and this is something I need to work on, is I should be making the brush a little bit smaller so that we have less to clean up. And I get very painterly, so that is something that I need to sort of teach myself in a way. I also want to make sure that I am giving enough height to the hair above the skull. It's definitely something we don't want to forget here. Just memeing till I get something in? Alright. Fair enough, fair enough. Make sure that the hair is even on either side here. I kind of, like, I don't know if Mirage is here today, but I kind of debated on tagging them for the stream because I am painting Mio, and that sort of made me wonder, like, if I am painting a character that I know that someone likes in particular, would you want to be tagged in that, or would you sort of want to be left alone and the stream alert is enough as is? Kind of curious what people think about that. Like, if I happen to know that you like a particular VTuber that I end up painting that day, I don't know if you would want a specific tag or not. Because I don't like bothering people. I feel like it's really easy to bother people with, tags and notices and everything, so I'm always like, I'm always a little hesitant to do anything like that. It's bad enough that I feel weird about just having an @everyone for going live. That actually took me a while to change up. I used to be nervous about that. I used to just have a role for it, but sort of learned that it was better to just have @everyone. So that's why I'm sort of wondering, like, if it would be annoying to have something specific if I know that you like a certain VTuber. If I paint Coco, tag you? Alright, I will try to remember that. That would be an interesting challenge. That would be very out of my comfort zone, but it would probably be good to do. That would definitely be out of the comfort zone. I kind of feel, bad in a way when I don't know, like, the exact references for every VTuber, but I still want to paint them just because, like, you know, most of them are really pretty. So I apologize if I don't understand every joke that chat might, throw in. Alright, I just sort of want to get a general idea of the hair. She's got this cute little lemon wedge pin here. I think it's a lemon wedge. I don't actually know. I know that, I know Rayless said that he probably won't be doing the Japanese VTubers anytime soon, but that would really make my life easier. If I could just get a quick idea of lore and everything. My paint doesn't need to dry? You can do nothing, there's a channel where I just watch paint dry. I think it depends on how late we talked about it. Maybe not after a few months ahead, but if we talked recently about the VTuber, I think it would be okay. Depends on how... Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah. Okay. I'm just saying, like, if someone says to me at some point, like, even if it was months, if someone is like, I don't know, if someone said something like, oh, Coco is my Oshi, then I would, if I happened to remember that, then that would be something where I might tag someone. It would have to be something very specific, like you've told me that this is your favorite. I wouldn't just do it because you're like, oh, I think they're cool, you know? I would try to be as least annoying as possible. But if you're, you know, if you tell me directly or if you're very adamant about a certain VTuber, then I would, if I remember to pick that up, if that is something that I'm able to, if it's just something that sort of stayed in the back of my head, that's what I'm asking, really. It's all good, I don't know all the jokes too. Sounds like a good plan? Alright, cool. I try to just not... I try to be as least annoying as I can, while still wanting to show off things that you might be interested in, you know? But there's sometimes where I just don't know who I'm going to be painting day to day, and it just ends up being like whatever feels right. Like, I think yesterday I was like, I think I want to paint Mio, but sometimes it just ends up being like day of, hour of, and I'm like, oh, I gotta pick something to work on. I don't think that happens too often. I think most of the time I'm planning, but you know. I should have grabbed a back view. That wasn't smart. Give me one sec here. I forgot a reference of her, I thought it would be better to get her main design instead of her concept art, but now I need the concept art so I can see how her hair looks, because that's pretty specific. Alright. Okay. Let's throw this over here. Bales is your Oshi? Alright, if I ever end up painting Hako's Bales, I will try to remember that. That'll be fun to paint. That'll be very chaotic. Alright, if I want more movement with her hair, then it would have to be, like, going in this direction, I think. I just want to make sure that it's flowing enough. So, coming up from the side here, and then probably see a little bit of the ties, I think. Not really sure how much, but just sort of an indication there. And then this part's probably in the back, so we probably see this much. And this is why I like having the model, just so I can get a quick idea of where things are being placed. And then I'll sort of rough that out later. Went from dark music to cutesy, we have everything here. Alright. And I want to make sure that I get enough of the detail in for her outfit before we keep going. Just so I make sure that we've got the base. Still going to try to make this a little bit faster than last time. I really do want to try improving on the speed. I want to try to do things where, for the most part, we have a certain style that can be done in the span of a stream. Let's see, I need to check out the charm here. What is that? Like a little bead? Today I bought an Ookami Mio figurine pop-up parade for 37 euro. I'd recommend it for the price and quality. She's colorful and fluffy. I've actually been debating on the pop-up parade Mio. I don't have any pop-up parade figures, so I'm like, I can use this as reference for sculpting. But yeah, it actually looks like a really, really nice figure. Out of any Hololive girl, I would probably either grab one of Mio or Fubuki, and I think that Mio's design in that sculpt is really well done, so I might consider that. I'm really glad that they made the pop-up parade line, to just like have a way where people could get figurines at a more affordable rate, because I always, like, in my head, I just sort of always assume that most anime figurines that are a full body and not like a chibi or anything in my head, it always sort of just goes to around 100. So it's really nice that they do that. This actually has the light being a little bit higher. And I might change the proportion a little bit, just because this is a very generic figure, and everyone sort of has different body types. I don't know too many Japanese ones, though I do watch Susei. I love Susei. I really love her story, you know? Her story's very inspiring, how she sort of got into Hololive. Just, I think she's like the one case of an indie being able to keep her design and everything, which is really cool. Why do I keep picking characters that have the hardest sleeves and then put their hands up? Why do I keep doing that to myself? That's not a smart idea. I keep picking characters that have large sleeves that I have to bend to fit the pose. And there's a little bit of complexity here, that's okay. Make sure I've got the pleats. Try to make that feel a little more three-dimensional after. And this is a confusing design, but I'll try to figure it out. See if I can figure out this whole tie thing going on. Yikes. Why do I keep doing this to myself? That's alright, that's worth it. Hidemitsu, thank you very much. Arigato, I very much appreciate it. Alright. Get this design in here. For this cross thing going on. Make sure I have all of them. Seems there's two main ones. And then a bunch of details here. Make sure it's far enough on the end. Is she the one that got rejected multiple times? I believe so? I'm not entirely sure. Looking for now? Alright, no worries, Murdoch. Welcome back, Ron. Just making it to a vest. Do I have this end piece right? Maybe. It feels like it needs to be a little more fluid. Feels a little more, it feels a little stiff. Try to soften up the tie there. And this is also going to show from the other side a little bit, I think. Maybe something like this could work? Might have to check that. That doesn't quite feel right yet. Alright, I'm gonna check that real quick. On the design. Oh, this is also open on the side and then has a tie. There's so much going on here. I feel like you really just don't know the complexity of someone until, like, until you do have to draw it, until it's, like, in front of you. And you have to sort of break it down. Nothing wrong with that, I feel like it's just harder to notice. Until you have to break down all the details yourself. I mentioned Gundam and Murdoch appears. Time for sleep? Alright, no worries. Armatax, sleep well, and all the best. Thank you for stopping by to say hello. Alright, this... Let me make a new layer and try to figure out where this would actually be. So this would be her hair. It's tied up here. Alright. Let me erase this part a little bit, because I think I need to do this on a new layer to sort of understand what it is I'm working with. Her hair's here. Gets tied up and ends here. And then there's the big bow part. The string comes out on this end, maybe, and possibly from the end here. That hopefully will look right. And then it's doubled up on each end. It's got 2 layers. And then I'll sort of move the arm so that it doesn't create so much of a negative tangent. But something like this, I think will work, hopefully. And then we'll erase what we have here, just to make sure. That looks fitting for the most part, right? Does that still feel awkward? This part might actually be smaller, or... Kind of want it to match the other side a little bit, even though you might see more of it. Maybe something like that? I think these ties are a little bit confusing. What if they came from here? And hopefully that works. Blech. Hopefully that works. Alright. I'm still trying to make sure that I'm not spending too much time on the sketch area. But she does have a lot more details than I keep thinking about. Chikorita? I think that's the first time anyone has asked for Chikorita. I think that might be the first time anyone's asked for it. So I don't know how good it's gonna be. Hang on a sec. Asked me for Chikorita before. There's a part of me that was sort of wondering how long it would take for anyone to ask for Chikorita. What a time to join the stream. Hello, weird alien thing. Alright, we've got some ties here. This is definitely going to be easier to just have more of a painterly style towards, I think. Alright, I think that officially marks all the starters now. Thank you for the save, Dolphin. I appreciate it. There's 2 bells. Okay. Alright. Sure. So many little details you don't notice. I thought I'd be mainly focusing on her hair, but instead it's like tiny little bells that you don't even notice. I mean, I think everyone notices the bells. I'm just saying, like, I didn't realize how many layers there were to them. If that makes sense. Alright, I think we are almost done with this outfit. We just gotta figure out the sleeves. Those open on the front, meaning we're seeing the back. Hang on. If this is flipped upside around, I'm trying to understand how this would work real quick. Alright. Her regular sleeve goes down, and this red part splits off. So when you flip it up, it's going to be... Hang on. Just imagine I have that little loading screen here as I try to figure out what this would look like. Does anyone else bother trying to figure this out in fan art, or does everyone just kind of ignore it? How are people... I think everyone's kind of ignoring it. I don't think anyone... I don't think I see any fan art where, like, it's actually being drawn that accurately. Oh, jeez. Alright. I'm just gonna do what they're doing then, I suppose, and just flip it around. If that's what everyone else does, then I shall too. How good is my Ditto impersonation? I don't know. I have no clue why you would want to know that. Also, it depends on how good the Ditto is, I think, because, like, if you're a really good Ditto, then you're able to mimic anyone, right? I forget now. How does that work? Can Ditto also mimic the cries? I feel like I need to study back up on things. How are people arranging this? If I'm a really good Ditto, I could probably stream and the audience wouldn't even notice. That'd be weird. I mean, I don't know. If you're a bad Ditto, you've stupid little dot eyes, right? That would be funny. That would. Is there a way I could turn that into like an asset? That would be funny. It's gonna drive me crazy. Also, weird alien thing, I don't think I understood your reference about the bells. But I feel like I should. Or maybe I just can't really, maybe I just can't really think fully on that right now. I'm trying to understand these sleeves and they're driving me crazy. But I want to try to not harp on it too much. As much as I can try. Most people seem to be ignoring it, though. Ah. Can a Ditto mimic a Ditto? Wouldn't that kind of defeat the purpose? Speaking of a Ditto, did you know Charlie Chaplin placed 3rd place in a Charlie Chaplin lookalike contest? Interesting. I feel like I could see that, but that's interesting for sure. Alright, I am making a not so accurate rendition of the sleeves, but they're really confusing, so I'm just trying to do my best. And I also don't want to fuss too much, so they might be a tiny bit less accurate, but not much more than most pieces. So that's fine. There's no reason why a common agreement among all Dittos exists when they all take the form of a pink blob thing while concealing what they actually look like. Wait, what? We're focusing on time and not over- yeah, okay, yeah, you're right, I'm just- these stupid sleeves. You're right. Alright. I'll leave it like that. I don't know why they're going the same direction. That's not right. I'm at least gonna change the direction. If I can, just so they're not even? Does that even work? No! No, go back. I don't want to flip the canvas. I just want to flip the... Ah! Alright. There. This is accurate, right? Yeah! This works enough. Alright, okay. You're right. Let me just place the eyes in real quick. Even though that's probably the part that I should spend the most time getting right. Thank you though, Vessa. I do appreciate that. I think the eyes are still much too low. Maybe not too bad, but just a bit. Need to combine these layers. Alright. Try and make sure that this is accurate. And this needs to be much thinner, despite the model. I think with the model, it's important to sort of know where you need to break it to make it look better. Or more accurate to the character you're drawing. It's gonna actually still probably be pushed more, so I'm just gonna sort of liquefy that. Yeah, it's really it's tricky proportions sometimes, I think. Especially with this mouth. Alright. This goes down a bit more. Definitely not at the point where these are perfect yet, but probably not gonna get there anytime soon, but just making sure that we've got the general idea down. Alright. Okay. There we go. That leaves us in a better place, I think. Let me just make sure that her hair feels like it should be much closer to her face here. I was trying to make it go off her shoulder, but it doesn't feel as natural. Because, proportion-wise, this seems that it usually looks like it's closer. That should be good. And then, okay. Thank goodness this is just a simple design in terms of pattern and everything, you know? Also, hello! Hello, Grendel! Stuck at the law office hoping to pop up later? Alright. Don't get in trouble. Alright. Make sure it's okay on either end. Doesn't quite feel there yet. This is being forced a bit too much to the end, to the side, I think. Yep, okay. Which can allow this to be a little bit larger, which can make it a little bit more even. This can move over as well. This is why it's important to just very rough it in. Alright. Trying to not get obsessed with the detail as best I can. As best I can. It's still something I'm working on, you know? Alright. Throw in the rough color here. I'm going to try and do what I've seen from other people, which is to add in the colors on separate layers, or mostly separate layers at least. And then it's at least easier to get in the shadows and everything. But I'm still going to do my best to not be crazy on the rendering as much as I can. How is this already so much time just to do the, just to get the sketch done, jeez. Oy, oy, oy. Let's say that's skin tone, this is, thrown hair. I think it's helpful that she doesn't have too many colors. Outfit, red trim. Not sure what else. She shows a little bit of skin here on the, what you call it? On the skirt. I'd be drawing something and try to be simple about it, and then I think detail pretties though, and then I lose the battle. Yeah, no, same here. Same here for sure. It is really, really hard for me to stay, constrained. Really, really tricky. But I will try. Just get in the rough idea. Can refine it later. Yeah, I think it's definitely the harder thing for me. Even if I don't 100% finish off stream, I'll try to at least get to the point where I'm not doing much. I mean, on stream, I'll try to get to the point where I'm not doing too much off stream. But at the very least, I still just want to work on the speed. And I know she's got the red stripe there. I'm just basing in the black color. I also realized I didn't draw a single detail on her ears. What is wrong with me? Alright, I will manually paint that in, I suppose. That's fine. Oh, here's another part that makes her confusing from a fox. Her ears are also tipped. Most wolves don't have tipped killer ears, but her ears are tipped. So that definitely adds a little bit of the confusion. What's the logic behind speeding up the goal? Do I actually want to complete the pictures faster, or is it more about an exercise in self-restraint? I actually do want to complete the pieces faster. I want to start offering speed paintings as a commission, and this is sort of my way of practicing them, because, and I might have, most of the commissions in the beginning will probably be stuff that I will add final details to off-stream, but I want to be able to offer something, that can be done very quickly and doesn't take... How did I... Alright. That doesn't take too long to get back. I want to have, how to explain it? I want to have some pieces that have quick turnaround. I think that a lot of my work has a very slow turnaround, especially in comparison to other artists. And I want to work on quicker turnaround with a higher quality. I also think that it's just good for me to be faster because I know that I am a fairly slow artist, in comparison to a lot of people. I need to be able to get more commissions done, to make this work as, like, a full-time thing. So, yeah, there's a lot of reasons, really. Also, just the fact that I need to get more confident with people. And doing speed paints is a really good way to get full pieces done of a subject matter, and then be able to move on to the next one and push the practice a little bit faster. Hang on. I get the hair, outfit needs to be separate, okay. What do I think slows me down? The technical working part or the brain planning part or something else? I think the planning part is definitely a big part of it. But I think most is getting lost in the detail. And I think that my main problem is that I'm afraid I'm not going to deliver a good product. So I tend to go a little bit intense with the level of detail, and now I'm kind of at a point where I can't really go back, if that makes sense. I'm being very, very honest here. I'm being very, like, kind of straightforward. I get nervous about the delivery, so I make up for it with fussing over details that most people probably can't see. So it's just, it's needing to work on a balance. Because I think, like, one thing I've been weirdly inspired by, I'm not really sure if inspired is the right word, but I've been looking at, like, Skeb, for instance, and I know that they have different levels of pricing and everything, but I've also noticed that they are, a lot of the artists on Skeb are very, very good at making something look more detailed and complicated than it is, because most people aren't going to zoom in super far, right? So they use a lot of tricks that I want to try and get better at. I think that's probably the best way to explain it. I'm not really sure if I'm explaining it well or not, but that's my attempt, at least. Alright. It's gonna be the lock-in. The bell area. What other parts am I missing here? There's a red piece here. I'll do the detail on the... whatchamacallit. I will do this detail later. Just to make sure I'm getting everything right. And clean that up on the side a bit later. Guess this will probably be another layer for the ears. I know it's not pink, it's just a color break. It's just to get the color down. feel like it's not... Yeah, this eye is feeling a little lazy. Now it's feeling a little too high. It's not quite right yet. The eye doesn't look great right now, but it will look better when there's color on it and such. Its nose should also be a little higher. Alright, I'll just manually move that over, I suppose. That's fine. Alright, that will look better once there's paint on it. Let me save that real quick. Sorry if the thoughtful questions are being annoying, just curious and getting brainstorming going. No, you're totally fine, Vessa. If I do offer speed paints, I'm sure I'd pay for one. I want to. I think I probably need some more practice first. With more practice, I'll get better? Yeah, I think so, Roan. I think, like, speed comes with confidence, right? So, that's sort of a large part of what I'm trying to build up. And I think that you can, too. Am I self-conscious about the client not liking the art? Yeah. I'm always worried that it's not going to be worthwhile or pleasing. I actually have in the past had experience with that, and it's kind of given me like a little bit of artist PTSD in a way. I don't know any better way to say that, but yeah, I've had instances that have kind of scared me. And now I'm just always nervous. That sounds so bad, but I don't know any other way to say it. So, the problem now is I'm kind of stuck in this situation where I want to do good work, but I always feel like it's being compared to the last stuff I made, so I kind of get in this perpetual loop, if that makes sense, of feeling like it always has to be at a level where I can't really go down. I don't know if that makes sense at all, but that's basically it. Off to do weird alien things? Alright. Have fun with that. Alright, this is gonna be red. Now we're actually starting to get the color in. Correct color, anyway. What are the... Wait, this is... How are these colored? Is this half and half? I suppose it is. No, they're tied together, so one is... Oh, okay, I see. This would be red, which would make this white, which makes that white, which makes this yellow, which makes this yellow. This will be white. Alright, that's making more sense now. And this is red, I believe? This is also split again. White, white, red, and yellow, and then this is red again. Okay, I think we've got all the colors in, and then just sort of have to fix up the ears a little. And her ears are kind of like a gray with white fluff. Okay, we can do that. Just sort of get the general thing in there, and then I will refine that after. And also, I'm just gonna put in eyes real quick. I can't even remember how I did the eyes last time, so that might take some experimentation as well. Definitely cleaning that up, but just want to get the idea down. Okay, and then I want to try and color this in a different way. So this should be all of our color, right? Okay. Make a color up above here. Call it overlay. Sort of want to do like a darker scene today. See if that works. And then have a little bit of highlight and everything, but I kind of want it to be a bit more of a nighttime scene. Or at least to feel that way. So a little bit of rim light. On all the ends here. I think I should have separated this from the background. That would have been smarter. See if that works. Might actually change this to be a little bit warmer. Yeah, I like that a little warmer. That's nice, kind of a little in between. Hello, Has. Internet's being wacky, and I think a storm is coming, so if I disappear, that's why. Alright, no worries. I've been actively studying art things for 2 weeks, and I'm amazed what I'm learning, how much I've sped up at some things just from being less uncertain. Yeah, for sure. I really appreciate that, Roan. Thank you. Yeah, it's something I need to work on for sure. There's just, I really should have just separated this. See if I can get rid of the background real quick. Does that work? Okay, that's good. Also need to do some darker colors here, so we'll go back to the skin layer. Or no, this can just be the overlay as well, I think. I'll just sort of quickly break in where they wouldn't have any light, or where there'd be less light, I suppose. Kind of a similar situation to how we did Tokinosora. Something like this will probably work out. Separate the hair a little bit, make that a little visually different. There we go. Really try to push that, and then let me throw in the background real quick, just so we can get a sense of color direction, which is always helpful. Just so we know, like, where we need to be here. The rain begins. Alright. I hope that it doesn't, throw things off too badly. Hopefully something like that, and I think I want to, again, make that a little warmer. Well, not that warm. Probably need a little bit of a... I'm trying to do like a nighttime winter. So, see if we can get anything in that direction. And then might try to do, actually, oh, I should have, maybe should have changed the composition around. I think it's okay. Light direction is always so tricky. That should be fine, though. See if we can get the rabbit in there. Probably blur the background anyway, so that's fine. Oh, that's not useful. Alright, everything's pink now. I don't want everything to be pink. Alright, let's try this another direction. This feels very awkward. There we go. Something like that might work. And then we're gonna have to get really sharp on the highlights, I think. I'm hoping this will look nice, if I can render it enough. Get that very strong rim lighting, of course. I wish I was a little bit more accurate in my lighting situation. Sort of still learning how the accuracy there would work. But I'm kind of playing around and just working with what will look pleasing enough at the moment. So I'm kind of just doing an overall general rim light. But that's okay. Might not be super accurate, but as long as it looks nice. I think that's good. I want to make sure that the crop is not going to look strange. I think the crop with the skirt might look a little bit off, so let me just expand that a little. Need to get the clothing. That will hopefully look less awkward, and I'll probably just darken this area so that you're paying less attention, and the face will stick out more, and I might just do an overlay that's a little darker as well. Sort of guiding the eye. That should work. Sometimes we need to put accuracy aside for coolness factor. There you go, yeah. Let me see if I want to do a half and half on the face, or if I prefer it without. It can kind of go either way sometimes. But let's see if this will work or not. Nah, probably not. Alright, this is fine. I think that's looking alright. Where are we at time? We're actually doing pretty okay for time. Really cool always wins out. There you go. How do I usually thick paint the hair? I tried using the same method as cloth and it didn't work well. So with hair, the main point is direction. Let me actually work on the hair first and see if I can explain things. I want to actually do what I've seen try this technique that I keep seeing on AI work, where they know to just make it fully on the top where the light hits. And then these ears are going to block it a bit. But there's usually a very strong highlight on the top here. And I also want to add the general highlight just in the hair in general. So that's just going to be a darker color to match, not darker, lighter than the black, but kind of a base color. Maybe no. Kind of want that to be more on the purple side, I think. And I can, a little too purple. I can emphasize that a bit stronger, and I might want to add some warmer colors. Black is really tricky. I think this overlay is gonna kill me. Where's the hair? I think this hair needs to be cooler. It's right now a very warm black, and it needs to be, what do I need? What do I need for this? Not blue, but just something a little cooler to reflect the skylight. Not the skylight, the sky around it. You know what I mean. The atmosphere. That should work out. And I will fix the red again, because the red just got changed a bit because of the color shift. It's going to take on a bit more of a purple color. Because again, we're thinking about the atmosphere. We're thinking about the blue of the sky. And that's going to affect anything that we have here that's red. Alright. Save that for now. I don't want to forget that little lemon wedge, so let me just add that to where the bells are real quick so that everything is sort of gold-ish. Where's that? Here? Alright. So I know that it's there, not forgetting it. And not forgetting the collar piece here either. Pooping into the ether. Okay. So for the hair, we'll zoom in a bit. I also want to grab this, reduce the opacity so it's not affecting what we're doing as much. But I also want to, kind of want to blend it in. Clean it up a bit overall. The main thing with thick painting that you're doing is you're eventually going to get rid of anything that looks like a sketch, right? You're getting rid of that sketchy phase, you're getting rid of that really rough line art. What some people will do is they will go from this stage to a very clean line art, but I don't think we have time for that today. So what I'm going to do instead is just sort of clean up around the edges, get rid of any really obvious stray lines, and just work on the color contrast. So like over here, I don't really need that, don't really need this. Alright, hang on. I want to make sure that I'm only affecting the colors of this character and not the background. And what I think I'm going to do I want to... No, it's okay. I'll just paint over it. That's fine. Try and figure out what to do in the time we have, you know? I'm just sort of going over everything in the raw layer. I'm just sort of going over everything and erasing the areas I don't need. I could probably think about this a little clearer if I wasn't streaming. But I just want to make sure that anything that's really obviously in the way is sort of erased out, but not so much that I can't see what I'm doing. Hopefully that makes sense. And the reason that I'm doing this manually instead of just reducing the opacity is because I want a little bit of control for various areas. Like, some pieces need to be a lot more reduced than others. Like this tail, this is gonna be fully painted. I can be very harsh on getting rid of this line. The arm, maybe not as much. Gonna get rid of the overlay so I can still see where that break is. Anything where I know more of what it's going to look like can be erased more, if that makes sense. So like this part, fully going to be painted over. I don't want that in the way. That can be erased. This can be erased. This entire part of the chest can be very erased because I want something a little cleaner. And I think for the most part, that's still pretty good. So we have just enough of an area where we can see what she's supposed to look like, but not in a way that is distracting, so that when we paint over it, we still know what we're doing. So, how do I want to do this? Do I still like the color scheme, or is there anything I should push there? I might want to push her skin tone because she's not a vampire, actually. Maybe make it a little bit more saturated. See if that did anything. Yeah, a tiny bit, not much, but that's okay. And I want to change her shadow. Where did that go? Is that... Where's her shadow layer? I had it somewhere. Of course I lost it. Here? There we go. Where her skin is, I want to make red. Or at least, you know, closer to a skin tone color instead of the clothing color. That's better. Might want to push that just a little bit more. But it's also night, so I'll actually leave that. That's fine. I want to lighten the outfit just a bit, just so we can actually see the details, and I want it a little bit more on the purple side. Separating the hair and the outfit just a little bit more. So one's more in a blue tone, the other's more in a purple tone. And then to paint this, to rough paint it anyway, yeah, I think I'm going to move this all to one layer. So I'll grab my folder. You don't have to always move it to one layer, it's just how I've gotten used to working. So I will merge selected, grab this one. I want to keep it under the overlay still. It's just, yeah, that's just a really loose thing, so I'm actually going to put all of these in a layer. I don't know what you're doing on the edges, I don't care. Duplicate it just in case. Just so we always have a backup. Merge these. Hide this. Hide that. Alright, and we can hide our model. Where are those highlights coming from? Here? Duplicate those just in case. Merge these. That's not right. What happened here? I'm not being super clean, clearly, but there. Is this all on a separate layer? Why is it tied to the background? Oh, that's okay. That's just the edge. I don't really care about that. Is this all separate for the most part, aside from the border? The border's fine. I don't care. Alright. So let's take our oil paintbrush, and to refine the edges, I'm just sort of going to go around the face here. This is a part where you guys are gonna have to really keep me on track from getting too crazed on the rendering part. Chikorita with a British accent? That doesn't even make sense. I can't even envision that. I can't think of how that would... I can't figure out the combination. Can anyone, like... It's so high-pitched and quick. I don't see how they work together. Even Roan's confused. Chikorita but Galarian form? Chikorita doesn't have a Galarian form! It's Pokemon, it only speaks its name. It doesn't make sense. Chikuya? I'm trying to take away the T, it doesn't work. It worked. I regret nothing. That doesn't make sense still. Thor doesn't have a reason to regret anything. Meanwhile, I'm questioning my life decisions. I feel like you've been talking to Vesa because the fact that you randomly asked for Chikorita out of the blue seems very suspicious. Alright, how am I trying to explain explain what I'm doing here? So for hair, what I'm essentially doing is making sure that the edges are clear, the edges against the face are clear and everything. And then for the detail, I'm just using the paint color to add in where that line art would be, essentially. So I keep changing my brush size, for example, so I can do some loose hairs, even though I probably shouldn't even bother with loose hairs at the moment. But I'm just kind of taking the skin color, taking the hair color, going back and forth with it. It didn't really make sense for me to separate the colors if I combine them all at the end, but that's just sort of my workflow now. I'm still trying to figure out my exact workflow, to be honest. But yeah, essentially, I'm taking the really dark color and using that as my line art, but then I'm also blending it with the sides so that it's kind of getting a painted edge. Does that make sense? I'm not sure if Haz is still here, but I'm hoping that makes sense. Sort of like grabbing that darker color and then just sort of forcing it through the edges. Like if I do it right here, for example, I'm adding another layer and I'm adding some detail and then blending it in with my base color so it's not as strong, but it's still sort of forming a little bit of an edge line. Do you see that? I'm grabbing my base color again, grabbing the skin color, sort of pushing it to the edge here. I want to be careful because I don't want the skin color to suddenly get dull because of the hair color. But again, it's just grabbing the light, maybe shifting the direction of the hair from that, grabbing the base again, blending this together. It's a lot of back and forth and blending and a absolute ton of eye dropping. He came up with that on his own, I promise. I don't think he was even here when I asked for Chikorita. Really? So today, you both just randomly decided to ask for the Pokemon that I have never done on stream yet? That is certainly a strange coincidence. And I'm just sort of sculpting in a little bit of the shadow shape. So I'm grabbing that darker color again and adding it. And this is why I separated the background, so that if I erased here, it wasn't going to affect anything. It's a coincidence, I never lie. Well, you don't. No, I feel like like that you would lie if you needed to for CIA-related things. If you needed to... If it was a matter of importance. Alright, we'll pick up a little bit of the highlight here. And where did the rest of the hair go? I got completely lost with what I did here. Oh, you didn't lie this time? Okay. Alright. I'm evil but honest. Grundle, I'm not even sure what you're implying there. I'm getting the impression RestreamBot isn't relaying anymore? Really? I can see Vessa's message and I can see your message, and you're both on different platforms. Am I missing anything? I think I'm getting everyone's messages, because you and Grendel are on YouTube, and Vessa's on Twitch. And Ice Bear is on YouTube. I think I'm getting it. I'm hoping we're good here. Also, hello, Ice Bear. Chat broken? That could be it. I'm having a hard time figuring out, like, exactly where the barrier of light needs to be. I think we're getting something that works, though. So I'm just sort of going in and trying to find the shapes. And again, I'm just sort of adding the darker parts and using that as a way to build up line art. And then using an eraser and getting down where it doesn't need to be. Refining things so that they go at sharp points. All that kind of stuff. What's my name? My name is Starlight. I've got my name in the lower left hand, or you can also call me Akari. I kind of go by both interchangeably, so, you know. I'm a celestial fox who draws other VTubers. And right now we are painting Ookami Mio from Hololive. So do you see how I sort of kept going back and forth and, you know, I keep grabbing the highlight, I keep grabbing the shadow, and I'm sort of going back and forth to create a bit of a painterly effect, all while making sure that my initial sketch disappears as we go. That's sort of what we're getting at here. We're getting the bright shine of the moon. We're picking up the shape of the shadow. And that is how you end up doing thick paint on the hair. I'll now call you Chikorita-chan. Do I use Photoshop? I'm actually using a program called Clip Studio Paint. I find it's the most comfortable for me to work in regards to a more painterly style. Do you draw yourself? Or paint? Or whatever? Whichever style? CSP is so nice now that I've got the hang of it. I'm guessing that's converted. Wish I converted sooner. I don't know what YouTube is picking up there, but you're good. Don't have anything to do, so just checking out VTubers? Alright, cool. Cool. Yeah, most of my, pretty much all my streams, really, have a... Why am I trying to separate a dark and a light? That doesn't make sense. This would all be in light. Why am I trying to separate the two? This is only gonna be a very thin light, I think. In Russian for digital art, they still use the word for painting specifically. I kind of like that in a way. I don't know why. There's something about that that feels very fitting. I've noticed in a lot of Japanese speed paints, instead of using speed paint, they use illustration making. And I'm trying to still figure out, like, when is the right time to use it, because I kind of like the term illustration making. It's not often that we see the word illustration being used well, because it's such an awkward long word. But I kind of like that. I'm just sort of adding tufts of hair here so that the highlights show up a little bit more. A little more unique shape here. I'll have to start using converted instead. No, it was fine with the you were fine with the when you said got the hang of it. The other word is what it didn't like, apparently. I don't know. Not to get too into the details. Alright. Maybe I really should have a command for that. As embarrassing as that sounds, it might actually help. Just to have, like, I don't know, some sort of reminder. At least until I get more into the hang of this. But yeah, you're right, you're right. Alright. 1 point redeemed that plays the sound effect of you not getting too caught up in the details. I'll just force an ear twitch when it happens. Wait, how does that... How does that make any sense? I don't know how to not get caught up in the details. I'm trying. It's... yeah, the problem is I can't get myself used to a rougher finish because I don't know, when other people do it, it looks great, and when I do it, it feels unfinished, and it's hard for me to get used to it. I don't know. It's gonna take work. You guys are gonna have to be more patient with me than I would understand if you would want to bother. I don't know how other people make this look so smooth and messy at the same time. That doesn't look good. What would work for this? We haven't even gotten to the eyes. What am I even kidding myself? The eyes alone take a lot of time. How did... I feel like I wasn't fussing on this as much as others, so... We're all our own biggest critic? Yeah, I guess that's true. Action lines being part of the contour lines, how they make it look messy and clean at the same time. I mean, yeah, I get that, but even like just down to the shade, the paint strokes, I don't know. It looks rough and clean, and it's nice, and I want to get to that point, but instead I keep messing with the individual things. I don't know. Like the person who did the art for nonfiction, Holomyth's Son, they have a very clean but messy style as well, and I really want to try to get to that point. I don't know, I like talking about this stuff with you guys, but at the same time I also feel like I don't want to, like, damper things. So. Just clean up the collar a little bit. Maybe the problem is, like, I start seeing that it could look really nice when it's cleaned up, and then I start thinking about that too much, and then I can't get myself to keep it loose because I think it would look nicer if it's clean. Maybe that's it. Maybe I just keep wanting to, like, see how it would look when it's cleaned up. I don't know. This is probably gonna end up being a 2-session painting. Perhaps. As much as I really was trying to not do that. Don't focus on what could be, focus on what you have now. Alright. Part of it is very much how you've been trained to complete the job to a particular standard. That would make that. Yikes. That would make sense. Yeah, I guess that was like what I was saying earlier. Yeah. I don't know. I think I've got myself in a loop now. Or something. I really need to study the skeb pieces more. Yeah, I think you've got that right, Murdoch. I think that actually makes a lot of sense. I'm not really sure how to move forward, I guess. With that, if it does feel lesser. Does she have claws or not? She doesn't have claws. That actually throws me off. I would think she would have claws. I feel bad. You guys are like, you know, coming here to relax, and here you are like, trying to help lecture me on my own thoughts about the work. You guys are just here to relax, so it's fine. I'll figure it out. Or at least to learn something. I'm just sort of trying to get the general feeling of the fingers at this point. My way of relaxing is lecturing you. Hi. This is relaxing, nice music, nice company, nice discussion, working things and try. I appreciate that. Sometimes working this stuff out on stream is good for everybody. If anyone else can benefit from it, then I would feel better. If anyone else is learning and I guess knowing what to avoid, maybe? If it's helping other people, then you know, that would be better then. Picture's looking good? Alright, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. Why do I always read out the mean parts and not the nice ones? I don't know. Ugh. Don't know if I can answer that one. I'm adding way too much highlight here. How is this supposed to be like a fold? There needs to be folds here in the fabric. No, you're not adding to any frustrations. I don't know. I guess it's just a lot to think about. I'm kind of adding highlights where they wouldn't really go, just so I can make it clear where things are. Best teaching is a mix of what to do, what not to do, and a dose of encouragement, especially as I'm sure the things you struggle with are hardly rare. Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everyone is, does go through, you know, all of this stuff. I guess learn from me to, not find yourself on a wheel, I suppose? I need to make sure that there's enough shadow here. And this is going to be going downwards, so that actually needs to be darker. Why is this not erasing? There we go. Alright, Murdoch. Sounds good. Where is my shading even going with this right now? Gosh. I'm not... I need to figure out light sources better. This should also be simplified more for an anime style. Why am I... Should probably be more simplified, I think. I'm not really sure. At least that sleeve looks okay. I'm gonna try to bring up the shading up here. It looks like in her official art, they use a airbrush of a... What do they call that? Forgot the official name now. There's a name for that in-between, middle ground, slightly more saturated area that I currently can't remember the name of, but it's just a very faint saturated area between the dark and the light, and I literally can't remember the name of it right now. I'm not really sure. Hopefully that's looking okay. There's still so much that needs to be done to the face. I'm just using a basic brush here to try to get the shape down. I don't want that to be, I want that to be in gray, kind of putting the lines back here. I think that just having a good sense of where light and dark would be would make this a lot easier. Because if you understand light and dark, you can make things feel very detailed without actually adding a lot of detail yourself. So I think improving in learning values and shadow and everything can really add a lot to a piece without much extra effort. I think we were talking in the Discord earlier about Craig Mullins, the artist who works with a mouse, and he is a master of working with light and dark. And even though his work is not very detailed up close, it looks incredibly detailed far away because he's mastered that to a kind of insane degree. So I think if there's anything to suggest people to work on, I would say it's the values of light and dark. I think that that's what really can make work pop. Oh, this goes down much further. Wait, this goes down past her... I didn't realize how long this was. This is pretty much bow tie length. This goes all the way down to her skirt. Okay. That's fine. I wasn't really expecting that, but... That's fine, that works. And I'll just try to grab some of the more purple shade and get a little bit of shadow in there. Whew. Hopefully that'll work. DC in the mood. Hello there. You saying Oba-san to Mio? Or to me? That I'm a little confused. Mio is considered the motherly figure, right? So highlights here also need to be cleaned up a little bit, I think. I'm trying not to leave any part undone here. Trying to just move around the piece as I can. You gotta get ready for work. Have a good day and rest of the stream. As always, it's fun hanging out. Thank you. I really appreciate that, Vessa. All the best at work. Hoping everything goes well. And thank you for stopping in. I really appreciate it. Try to make things more fluid next time. More smooth. See if I can figure out her. It's smooth enough already. I just mean like the process and everything, and you know, just I don't know. Anyway, I hope that you have a good shift. Hope everything goes well. I get the base color here, side color here. There we go. That actually worked out pretty well. That, charm just sort of getting some base colors in there. I think I'll make this a little bit darker, just so there's some contrast between the light. There we go. And then that's probably gonna take too long to render out. This is going okay. This is fine. What parts of this are taking the longest? I'm just wondering, like, where this is coming from. I want to know, like, where I'm getting stuck, so I know where to avoid getting stuck. That makes sense, right? I can't tell if, like, I mean, I think the sketch took us, about an hour. So I'm wondering, like, where it is that I'm getting stuck up. Or held up. Hopefully not stuck up. I think I lost time in the hair because I was trying to explain and being more careful. Maybe. I didn't think I spent too long on that, but maybe? But as long as you guys now get sort of an understanding on, on how the thick painting works, right? You can see that I'm just sort of painting out the details, basically. The confusion with the sleeves. Ah! These are really confusing sleeves. If you go, like, look up a reference image of her, you'll see what I mean. It's not clear at all. But yeah, you're probably right. That probably did it. I also want to start grabbing... Do you see how there's, like, a little bit of red here from the sleeve? Like, I want to start grabbing that and adding it to the rest of the outfit, and it kind of unifies things in a really nice way. That's sort of a little bit of a color trick that you can use. You see some people who add color, and they use, like, very vibrant colors you don't quite think of. A lot of times they're pulling from the vibrancy of another area, and it's not necessarily extremely realistic. But it adds a very unified feeling to the piece. And it does come from the bounce light. I mean, there is a realism aspect to it as to why people do it. A lot of people highly exaggerate it, but that is a technique that I like trying to use when I remember that it exists. I think a lot of times for me, I'll work on a piece, and then I will remember later something that I learned for that piece that or not for that piece, but something that I had learned that I could have incorporated into the piece. It's almost like you need a checklist of, like, different art techniques to use. That's probably not normal, but just sort of things where it's like, if you do this, it will look cleaner, it'll look better, it'll match up nicer. I don't know. Things I keep forgetting are tools that you can use. Because there's so many little aspects that it gets hard to remember them all. I'll do this again with the rim light, just to hold down the shape. I have a checklist for writing. One for art seems perfectly sensible. You do have a checklist for writing. Okay. Well then, maybe I'll just add that onto my pile of things. Things don't always have to be realistic. Use of color communicates ideas and information, so breaking reality sometimes gets the points over better. That's true, yeah. And, of course, you know, a lot of anime coloring is not realistic anyway. But I do like trying to have a sense of, you know, a little bit of logic, but I also really do like heightened color. I just personally can't get myself to do it much because it takes a lot of bravery to just throw in random color. So I can't do it as much as I would like to, but I really admire when other people can. I'm totally adding non-existent highlights here, but that's okay. Let me at least take it away where the shadow is, so that there's somewhat of a semblance of logic here. You see, I'm not trying to be, like, crazy with the detail. I just still kind of get caught in it sometimes. It's like a spider web. It's like Hylas's spider web. I have a checklist to make sure I check for excess adverb use, for example, plus running spell check, checking my reading average in Hemingway editor, etc., etc. A lot of the writing checklist is for cleanup, just like in art. You rough out the plot in general words, and then go back through and blend in sentences together. Yeah, maybe I should come up with something like that. Maybe I should just have like a... Maybe that would actually help. It might help. And now I'm getting really thrown off about where shadows go. You know, I think the most annoying part about learning, like, fundamentals and everything is that you learn how to shade a sphere, right? Like, everyone learns to shade a basic sphere. And then no one really tells you how to go further than the basic sphere. And you're sort of left to your own devices to figure out how you're supposed to shade things like the lighting on a hand or something. And you can do studies of photos and everything, and that definitely helps. But then there comes a point where it gets hard to tell for each individual thing what their own special rules are. And also how to simplify this for an anime style. Because I think they all have their own special rules. It's amazing how much the picture changes in a short time. I'm trying. We're trying to do a bit of speed work here. I don't think I'm gonna get the entire thing done today. I think there's just a little too much detail to work in. But thank you. Where is her... How does the side view look with the highlights are definitely throwing me off. Let me see if I can get rid of the highlight real quick and then get the side view. I think I need to flip her reference sheet so I can actually see what I'm doing. On this side. There we go. A huge part of this is just the fact I can't read the reference sheet well. For anyone who's confused, I have the reference sheet up on another screen. And I'm sort of trying to work with something where she's posed and the reference sheet isn't, so there's a little bit of a disconnect there. How did the sleeves get so high? The sleeve... Wait. Her sleeves and her vest are separated, right? Yes, they are. They're very This is actually probably too high. I can't really change it much now, but this is probably too high. The sleeve probably should have been lower. That's okay. I think the word I was trying to figure out before was denominator. I think the middle area here, I want to say is denominator for some reason. It doesn't quite sound right to me yet, but there's a name for it. I've watched Marco Bucci explain it. Things we've definitely learned today, having a good reference sheet makes it easy for people to draw you. Yeah. You know what I think I might add to that? That I think would really help a lot of artists that I just realized would be good, like, now, that I don't think anyone's ever talked about? I think that if you have a reference sheet and you have really complicated sleeves, it might be in your best interest to have a call-out that shows what your sleeve looks like down at your side, and like raising your hand. Because if you have something very complicated going on like this, it's very hard to figure out how that flips around when you're only looking at one side of it. And yes, you could just flip the reference sheet upside down, but it doesn't always clear up as well as you would think. Because you're still basically looking at it from the opposite direction, if that makes sense. So that's something that I think that might be worth calling out. If you have crazy sleeves, consider an upward view. Minokuro, hello there. Fingers are basically cuboid or whatever mashed together, but the joint things takes a ton of time to get a feel for. Yeah, for sure. Learning ray tracing manually is a talent. Basic shapes are well and good, but there's so few tutorials that look at the special rule for hands and stuff. I agree, yeah. I really need to get better with the hands. I've a lot of experience with paws, but I don't have nearly as much experience as I would like with hands. Ruffles always complicate things, and apparently it's a good thing I'm looking in the shadows. Yeah, I think it might be a good thing. Yeah, ruffles do complicate things, but also just, like, all the weird stuff going on with it. Thank you, I appreciate that, Murdoch. Thank you for flooding the text box. How is this tying? Oh! This is- wait. I take it back. That red piece is actually skin tight, so it would actually be here, meaning we would not be seeing it. Meaning that we might see, like, a little glimpse of... If this ties here, we might see a tiny bit here, but... Alright. This is gonna be... Wait. How does this translate from the waist? I think this is actually going to be black. I think you actually wouldn't be able to see it. But it ties with the two black pieces tie together. Ah. It's a good thing I have the reference, but it's still not entirely clear to me. I think her waist is, you know, goes out a little bit more here. Also, thank you for the Discord shout-out, Murdoch. If anyone is interested in art, is an artist, is interested in stream alerts or anything like that, where is my head going with this? If you want to know when I'm going to be streaming, I have alerts in the Discord server if you would like to join. And if you're an artist who wants to post their own art, or someone who just likes art, then feel free to say hi. We talk about all kinds of interesting, creative subjects of all forms. And yeah, I really failed the pitch this time, but that's okay. I'm trying to not be fussy about this, but I am definitely getting thrown off by the colors a little. A lot of these ties are beyond my understanding a little. And this is also backwards. Or is it? Alright. I'm just gonna go with what I'm seeing. This is so confusing. I don't know why this is as confusing as it is, because it didn't look confusing at first glance. It really didn't. It didn't feel... It didn't feel like it would throw me off so much. There we go. Thank you, Murdoch. You're better at pitching my Discord than I am. Thank you. I have like a little designated pitch wolf here. I think I got a little thrown off today for some reason. This would also be hitting straight light, wouldn't it? This would be getting, like, direct moonlight on the edges, right? I don't even try to pitch my own in my content. It's hard to remember, right? It's hard to, like, get into the groove to do that. Okay. Alright. Yeah, this I know I took time on trying to figure out. This I could tell was a time sink. I wonder if just, like, I think it's, like, 1, the confidence, 2, the just needing to understand how clothing works on humans, or human-like creatures, and just sort of needing to... I'm trying to get myself to do basically the 10,000 hour rule, with figures that I have not had 10,000 hours drawing. Just trying to figure out where the hiccups and everything are, you know? I have very much not been working on the humans for that long. I keep saying human, but you know what I mean. Humanoid. forgot her tail tip is white. That's definitely more fox-like to me. Alright. Sure. I think that what I'm going to do, just because we're sort of, we're sort of at the time anyway. I think I'm going to stop here, because I think we need a whole other stream to get this one done. I don't know, maybe not an entire stream, but like you can see, I'm trying to move around the piece. There's just different parts that sort of tie me up a little bit. But I can see like where I'm moving faster with the rendering. Like I think the sleeves are faster. And I don't know if next stream would take the entire time to render that. So I also really want to redo this. I don't think that worked well. I'm definitely gonna clean that up. I think what we might do is try to finish this off next stream. And if it takes the whole stream time, then that's fine. And if we finish it, then I can open the stream for any art questions or tutorial type things that you might want me to demonstrate. Do you think that might be good? I can't promise that I can get around to that. I don't know if we would have time, but yeah, I think we're just about done with it. Timing is so tricky. You might not have done this all as fast as you liked, but I still think it's a lovely piece in a very reasonable amount of time. I have enjoyed watching this come into existence. I appreciate that. At this point, you got like a couple places to do more rim lighting, whatever little touch-ups. Yeah, it's like, I can see where the ending is. I just couldn't get it done for this. But I think we're close. I think we're very close. The rim light is pretty much set. I think it'll probably take the rest of stream next time to do it, but we will see. We are moving forward and learning as we go, right? But anyway, I think that will be it for today. I appreciate you guys so much. I really admire that you are so supportive and so kind when I sort of get into some ruts. But I really, really appreciate it, and I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, evening, or night, and thank you so much, Stargazers. I'm wishing you all the best.